I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before, and we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
At least 130 Palestinians have been killed this week trying to collect aid. That's according to local medics and the Hamas-run health ministry. Remember, the way people can access aid has fundamentally changed this past month. There are 4 distribution sites set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation where people have to go to collect aid, along with other smaller operations run by the UN and charity kitchens. And there have been multiple reports of Palestinians being killed and injured in the process of getting aid. Some video has been circulating like this one, which shows hundreds of people carrying bags of aid in northern Gaza. Elsewhere in Gaza, in the southern city of Khan Yunis, we verified video where we can see people running before we can hear a loud bang. We traced what appears to be the original video, which is shared with a caption linking it to an aid-related incident. We asked the Israeli army about this, and they told BBC Verified that they'd identified a gathering next to an aid truck that got stuck in the area, and in proximity of IDF troops. They said they're aware of reports regarding a number of injured individuals from IDF fire, and that they regret any harm to uninvolved individuals.
The Iranians have been pushing propaganda that Israel is just, close to being finished, that they've done a whole lot of job. They are only just managing the situation not to attack Israel more, because of the civilian population and all of that, that they have the capacity to actually overwhelm Israel quickly. I mean, they've been defiant. But, generally the world media, when we take a look at it, people think that the Iranians are not that strong. But we've seen them being resilient. And, of course, Netanyahu is also coming very hard and urging, those who are in Israel not to be publishing certain pictures and all of that. There's a media blackout because of what Iran is doing. Who should we believe between Iran and, of course, Israel within this time in terms of media control and propaganda?
Yes, all of them are trying to minimize their damage to the global audience to maintain their power. But frankly, Israel is considerably damaged. Right? Look at the land size compared to Iran and Israel. You can practically carry 20 Israel and dump in Iran and you still have space. So it's a very small country. Look at the damage that is done to Haifa. is almost decimated. Tel Aviv is almost down. Ben Gurion has been bombed many, many times by the Houthis, and now it's almost also down. In fact, based on the latest estimate, Israel lost nearly $500 billion worth of their own infrastructure. It's irrecoverable. So their only show of coming back strong and proving their own prowess is making sure that Iran is subjugated. And the only way they can subjugate Iran is bringing United States on board. What Iran did was understanding their strategic structure, especially around the Iron Dome. They swarmed them with low-grade drones and missiles. And these low-grade missiles, Israel released the Iron Dome and the Iron Dome got exhausted. Now they practically have Israel open to strike anywhere.
Well, it's also the same way. The Israelis say that they've been in charge of the Iranian airspace, and they are bombing different military infrastructure, and they're in control of Iran.
They are actually. They have taken, in fact, one of the things that helped them was their infiltration. They have a cell within Iran for 30 years, and the cells were able to recruit low-grade Indian workers. India has a very strong relationship with Israel. So the Indians in Iran became spies for Israel. So they are giving a lot of information, and through these Indian workers, home workers, factory workers, gardeners, restaurant workers, shopkeepers, pharmacists, through these people, that's how they got information about each and every major military and nuclear scientists in Israel, and that's how they're able to take them out, right? So they planned this thing strongly, properly, and that is why they are able to achieve this success within a very short period of time, Israel. But the success didn't last because the US did not come on time. You were supposed to have hit.
Yeah, and that's what people are wondering. That why was Donald Trump, taking his time to actually, get into this conflict? But could it be that Trump is also listening to other global leaders, because people are calling for a return to negotiation, and they are hitting hard at Israel that these attacks were unprovoked, and then of course the Iranians have been saying that look, they are trying to manage the situation. In all of this, we've heard that Ali Khamenei is just some inches away from death, because the Israelis want him dead. What could be the implication if, for example, Israel does kill Ali Khamenei, just like others?
The implication to me is going to be very massive, because it means that every president in the world is not safe again. That's what it means. That means if you are a president of any country, you are a president of Nigeria, you are a president of Ghana, you are a president of Mali, you are a president of Cote d'Ivoire, you are a president of Egypt, you are not safe.
But in war, all is fair.
Not all is fair in war, but leadership are always preserved. Why? Because you need that institutional capacity, and also you need that integrity to bring them on board at the point of negotiation. If you eliminate a leader, who is going to stop the carnage from happening?
Well, aren't they aiming at regime change?
Now,
because that's the cardinal reason why Israel
is the regime change, right? So the only way to change the regime is not by eliminating the leader. Regime change has never succeeded when external forces eliminate the leader. You always have to instigate internal forces to go against their leader. So what you do is you exert pressure from within the country to render the leader inefficient in such a way that the people will now raise against the leader. You give them a small backup and they topple the leader.
Like
and that's how you sustain Syria. That's how you reach. But if you come from outside, you will eulogize that leader. You will make him almost like a prophetic figure that people will be worshipping in the future. So because of that, it is going to be very devastating. Even people that are neutral are going to move to the side of that leader. It is going to attract massive sympathy, and is going to lead to the complete decimation of Israel. And that is why most leaders are saying, stop doing this.
Trump's claim. Spectacular military success. 3 key nuclear sites targeted. Fordow, Natanz, Esfahan. Trump asserted they were completely and totally obliterated. Weaponry used. These included 6 30,000-pound bunker-buster bombs, dropped on Fordow by Beta stealth bombers, plus approximately 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles to strike Natanz and Esfahan. Quantitative military strength. Bombs weighing tens of thousands of pounds and missile counts confirm a significant operation, bolstering Trump's characterization in material terms. Iran's counterclaims. Damage more limited than claimed. Evacuations occurred earlier. Iranian officials assert the sites had been emptied of enriched uranium, evacuated well before the strikes. No radiation leak detected. According to IAEA and Gulf state nuclear watchdogs, no increase in off-site radiation was observed post-strike. Contested destruction. Iran's lawmakers and its nuclear body downplayed structural damage, asserting no irreversible damage. Strategic context and statistics. First U.S. strike within Iran. This marks the inaugural U.S. military action on Iranian soil since Trump's January 2020 strike on General Qasem Soleimani. Shift from isolationist stance. The use of high-yield bunker-buster signals. A full-scale military gamble. Despite Trump's previous aversion to prolonged Middle East entanglements, international responses. Israel referred to it as a historic pivot and praised U.S. alignment with its own strikes. United Nations Secretary General Guterres warned of dangerous escalation. Global condemnation, multiple governments and bodies condemned the strikes as violations of international law, risks and economic impacts. Potential feedback loop. Experts warn of retaliation via Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz, attacks on U.S. Israeli assets globally, bolstered proxy warfare across the region. Economic shockwaves. All markets are sensitive. Energy prices and financial markets reacted swiftly with all surging and investors turning to safe havens like gold and USD. Public opinion caveat. Historically, U.S. poll data shows low appetite approximately equals 12 to 18% for war with Iran, suggesting domestic support could erode. Analysis summary. Trump's position independent assessments. Completely obliterated nuclear capability. Physical strike was powerful, but evacuation and intact structures mean material impact may be limited. Radiation data shows negligible leakage. Time for peace. Risk of further conflict remains high. Peace depends on Iran's response. Spectacular success. Military operations succeeded tactically, but weighed against legal, economic, and geopolitical fallout. The strategic success is open to serious question. Trump's speech delivers powerful rhetoric and cites tangible military action, but the key evidence, evacuated sites and lack of radiation, suggest the physical destruction may not equate to a lasting strategic knockout. While bunker busters and tomahawks demonstrate tactical might, the geopolitical and economic repercussions are poised to overshadow any immediate battlefield gains. Markets have already reacted with energy price volatility and backlash from international bodies, and wary U.S. public opinion could challenge domestic consensus. This moment might mark less a decisive victory and more a high-stakes gamble on stability in an already volatile region.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Did the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
No, they didn't help. No. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us. Europe is not going to be able to help in this one.
20 years ago, you were skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked a Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. You know, there was the nuclear age, but nothing like it is today. And it looked like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already.